Our guest tonight is Mr. John Kleinchester from Two Roads Brewing in Stratford, Connecticut.
Hey now.
This guy right here. You might have seen him for a brief 2 seconds when I went to click Dave's mic and click John's feed.
I just wanted in so bad. Sorry.
Maple syrup dripping from his fake road. Who did he see when he heard who was there? Now it seems that he shit out of.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, October the 5th, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you, and with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai munching away on something over there. What do you got going on there?
I've got it is cider donut season.
It is cider donut season.
Oh, I put on so much weight during cider donut season.
Mm-hmm.
Cider donut season. This is
I put on so much weight during eating season.
The football season's eating season.
Well, eating
you,
season.
or is that 365 days?
Well, no, it's eating season starts January 1st and ends on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
That's eating season.
Eating season. No, these are from Hacklebarney Farms.
Hackle Barney Farms, yes.
Farm
Farms, yes.
Know
it
like
well, very nice. Yep.
So good.
Great place.
Anyway, but today is National Storytelling Day.
Today is not National Cider Donut Day.
No. I think that's coming up, though.
It is National Storytelling Day. There you go.
Yeah.
It says it right there. Must be.
Must be. Johnny, tell me a story.
You really want me to tell you a story?
Tell me a story.
Oh, geez. All right, let me think of one. Let me think.
You got one?
Well, you know what? I'll give you my backstory. How's that?
Your backstory.
Happened to me a while back. Yeah, a while back. Many of you know, or maybe you don't know, I was actually born in West Philadelphia. Born and raised.
Born and raised, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard.
I used to, most of the time, especially in the summer, but most of the time I used to hang on the playground. Yeah, I spent most of my days there. Just, chilling out, maxing, relaxing. All cool, just shooting some...
Macking or maxing?
Macking.
Macking, okay.
Maxing. It's maxing.
Is it maxing?
But whatever. That's irrelevant, though, because I was playing basketball most of the time. All cool.
Oh, okay.
Just outside
it's
of
hard
school.
to mac when you're,
You can't mac when you're playing basketball. You're maxing when you're playing basketball. But
yeah.
But anyway, there was this group of guys, right? They were always they were always up to no good or whatever. And they started, really pissing a lot of people off, making me out of trouble in my neighborhood or whatever. So I couldn't take it anymore. At one point, I just got into a fight with them, and just one little fight.
One little fight,
yeah. And my mother, oh man, she got totally scared.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
And she said, "Go pack your bags. You're moving out to California where your aunt and uncle. That's it. You're going."
Where do they live?
Out in Bel Air.
Bel Air.
Bel Air, yeah. So,
I've heard of Bel Air.
So she even packed my suitcase and sent me on my way. But when I got out there anyway, I landed in LAX, right? So I get out and I'm by myself, right? And I get my bags. I whistle for a cab, I came near and this cab pulls up and he's got foam dice, hanging in the mirror, and he's got this license plate on the back of the car. It says fresh on it. So I'm like, this can't be that bad, that was a rare cab, definitely a rare cab.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought, forget about it. So I looked at the guys like, Home Spring, Bel Air, let's go. So it took like forever to get there. Well, the traffic in LA.
Yeah, that's the fives.
Whatever. Yeah, it took like hours. Like we didn't even get up to Bel Air till like 7 or 8. And I'm glad to get out of that cab though, because he was reeking. Oh man, in fact, I looked at him. I said, "Yo, home, smell you later." But there I stood in front of the house, and it was a beautiful palatial mansion. And I'm like, finally, here I am. I'm going to call myself. I'm going to be the Prince of Bel Air. And that's what it turned out to be. So, yeah.
Very nice.
It was
very nice.
It was a nice time. It was nice. Nice time.
Nice story.
I thought so.
And then
do you have one?
Yeah, but mine's. I want you to listen to this. It's about a man named Jed.
Oh, I think I know him. I think you told me about him once.
The poor mountaineer.
Oh yeah.
That dude barely.
He really didn't make. He didn't make that much money.
No, he barely kept his family fed. Actually.
No, I know.
And it's so poor that he'd have to hunt for their dinner.
Sure.
So
well, of course, that's what you do when you're a mountaineer, right?
Yeah, he was out shooting at some food, and he missed because he was. Well, he didn't have a very good gun.
Oh,
well, gun wasn't even rifled, so he hits the ground.
A pistol or something?
No, this is like a blunderbuss.
Was he like a raccoon, or was he like shooting big game?
Just some food. I don't know what he's shooting at, but he hits the ground, and out comes bubbling crude.
Oil.
that it is. The black gold.
They call it. What's that other thing they call it?
Texas tea.
Texas tea. That's right.
Texas tea.
I
Yeah.
gotcha.
So next thing you know, old Jet, he's a millionaire.
Oh wow. That's
Right.
cool.
So
that's great though. I mean, it Rex the Rich's story, right?
Oh, perfect for him, but all of his kinfolks, you got to get out of there because everyone's like hitting him up for money all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You would think it would be his kinfolk hitting him up for the money, but they're the ones that told him, you got to go out to California.
That's right. I remember that family move when I was in Bel Air. I remember this family moving out to Beverly Hills.
Yeah, they were not too far away. That's a place. They told me that's where you ought to be, whatever. So he loads up his truck. Oh my God! Gets his kids in it, wife, grandma. They move out. They move out to Beverly.
Right, Hills.
Yeah,
right.
That it is. Right. The swimming pools, movie stars, everything.
The whole nine, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and out there,
him.
Yeah, they were. But everyone, they all called them the Beverly Hillbillies out there because,
Good
what
story.
it is.
Good story.
Yeah,
good story.
It's a shit.
Brian,
story.
Brian Olt just chimed in though.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He called us doofuses.
Well, he would know.
He also said cheers too.
Oh,
anyway,
okay. Cheers.
Whatchamacallit. And I would be remiss if I didn't put the other comment up. Tom Mulvihill, the Beer Whisperer, says, "What's up, guys? The Beer Whisperer salutes you."
Now that's a hell of a storyteller right there.
Absolutely, that's a storyteller and a half. Absolutely.
But we don't have Tom here to tell us a story.
We don't. We might have somebody else to tell us a story though.
Do you?
We have a guest.
You got Dave Kleinchester?
John Kleinchester.
John Kleinchester.
No, that was the intro.
It's another Dave.
He's not on the show tonight.
Do we have any
Dave? It's another Dave.
I like Dave. Dave's a good name.
I'll bring him in. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Felt from Remarkable Liquids. He's the New Jersey sales manager from
Dave.
Remarkable Liquids.
What's going on?
What's going on? How have you been?
Been pretty good.
That's good.
You got a story for us?
I do have a story for you. So,
can we get some beverages first?
Yeah,
why don't we pour our beers and we'll sit back and listen to your story? There we go.
Yeah.
So, Dave, why don't you tell us what you're drinking first?
No, I am drinking. Oh, which Dave? We knew this was going to be a problem.
I had to say it once.
Knew this was going to be a problem.
All right. Felt, why don't you tell us what you're drinking first? Then you can prepare for your story while we open our beers.
So I am drinking a Grim Festooning.
Very nice.
Such pretty labels they have.
Yeah, they do.
In honor of October.
October. Why is this in honor of October?
It's an Oktoberfest.
It's an Oktoberfest.
Which I guess should actually be September, but
it begins in September and finishes at the beginning of October, and we're right towards the tail end of Oktoberfest. Was like the other day, or whatever. But still, I'm having an Oktoberfest tonight too, as you'll see in a minute. But yeah, All right, good. So cheers to that. Samurai, what are you drinking?
I'm gonna drink a Prairie Artisan Ale, Vape Tricks.
Very nice.
In honor of Mr. Felt here. Mm-hmm. It's one of the few prairies I still have in the house. And I wanted to do a pink one.
They don't last very long, do they?
No.
Nothing for prairie usually lasts.
Especially the bombs. And I wanted to grab this one because this one's pink.
Right.
Again, this is also in honor of October because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So, save the tatas.
Mm-hmm. Save second base.
Save second base.
Yep.
And get those puppies checked.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
All right.
So,
we throw that. Actually, I had the crawl for. I had the crawl for yours. There you go. So,
you had
tricks right there. Krebs. Prairie Artisan Else is in Krebs, Oklahoma.
Krebs.
Maynard G. No, that's another show. Anyway,
the Krusty Krab. No, that's another
Krusty
show.
Krab. That's another show. Right? I'm drinking a Zero Gravity Oktoberfest right there. So all three of these first beers are represented by one particular distributor in Jersey. Is that right, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is
who
arguably the best looking, but
the best looking distributor?
Is the building's really nice?
The building's gorgeous.
It is.
The architecture is fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's modern. It's like postmodern 90s industrial.
Yeah, so our warehouse is actually designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Very nice. That's awesome.
Speaking of Prairie, we're back to the Prairie School of Architecture.
There you go. Cheers. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Prost.
Yeah, prost. Yeah, there we go. 2 Oktoberfest. Might as well be prost.
Mr. Felt, regale us with your story.
Please do.
Oh yeah. So something a lot of people don't know about me is that after college, I took some time off and I went to Nepal to really find myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I bounced around for a while, and I was told that there was an elder in this village that I visited, and to really find your true self, talking to him would be fantastic.
Sure.
And so I went and I sat and I met with him, and I said, what's this all mean? Why am I here?
What's it all about?
Going on?
Right.
And he said, the world, it doesn't move to the beat of just one drum.
Nope. No, it definitely doesn't. You're right on that.
What might be right for you might not be right for some.
Very true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's wise.
Wise words.
Yeah.
Words.
And a man is born,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a man of means.
Mm-hmm.
Then along come two. They got nothing but their genes.
We gotcha.
Their genes?
Yeah.
But their jeans.
Nothing but their
Jeans like what they're composed of, or just the jeans that they're wearing?
Like Levi's.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. They got just their pants.
I guess that could have worked both ways.
Yeah, could have.
Yeah.
Could have. Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They got different strokes.
They do. They do. Deep.
That is,
Deep.
yeah.
And it
They
takes
really
different
do.
strokes to move the world.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Everybody's got a special kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that hit me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right here.
Right
That's
here.
Deep. That's deep.
Down there as well.
And in this general vicinity down here. Right. Anyway, all right.
We've had our fun now.
Fun time is over. Here you go. Cheers on that.
Guys,
All right. We got one other comment right now. I'll just throw it up. Douglas Smith said, cheers. Love the Trader Aid shirt, Dave. I've had it on draft at Smug, but missed the cans.
I'd gotten cans. I mean, I lived 4 blocks from Smug when I was in Rhode Island. It was awesome. And I had to wear this today considering that the GOAT goes back up to New England.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a sloppy game.
It was a sloppy game. It was actually a really ugly game, to be honest.
Isn't he also about to break a record?
He did.
He broke it up
broke
there.
it the other night.
He broke it.
Yeah, like in
Broke
the
it
first quarter?
In the first quarter, yeah.
Yeah, and they
Well, he's only like 30 yards away from it. So.
and rather than stop the game and do anything like that, they just kind of flashed it up on the board and just went on with their lives.
And you know who has the most passing yards in the NFL right now?
Would that be Roethlisberger?
No, not even close.
Oh, for the season. For the season.
For the season. This season.
Well, we know it's not Danny Dimebag.
No, actually, but he's up near the top. Yeah. No, it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady has the most passing yards in the NFL this year.
Makes sense. He's got a lot of weapons.
65-year-old quarterback. He's the most passing yards in the
65. Not quite.
Anyway, Danny Dimes is actually seventh on the list.
Wow,
so it's not bad. I mean, he's only like 100 and something yards, or just shy of 200 yards behind Tom Brady too. I mean, it's only 4 games, but
the lowest yards are all rookies and Roethlisberger.
And Roethlisberger. Yeah.
Top 10 yardage right now are all 9 of them are rookies and Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
What record? But Ben just broke a record, didn't he?
Yeah, over somebody's head.
He just recently broke a record, but whatever.
But and you'll never guess. We'll leave the sports after this. You'll never guess who's number 6 ahead of Danny Dimes.
Dak, or is he up? Dak's got to be higher.
He might be up or down. I got to look. I actually have the list right here.
Mahomes.
But Mahomes is above him. Yeah, sure. I'll give you the list here. Hold on, right? I got it right here.
All of a sudden, it's Wednesday night.
Yeah, really. Well, this is in preparation for Wednesday night. No, Dak doesn't have as many passing yards as Dak is number 12 actually.
Money well spent.
Tom Brady's number 1, Kyler Murray's 2, Matt Stafford's 3, Patrick Mahomes is 4, Derek Carr is 5. But this was before the game last night. But I think Derek Carr only had like 10 yards passing last night, so I don't think he moved very much after last night. Sam Darnold's number 6.
Interesting.
Sam Darnold's number 6, yeah, and Daniel Jones is 7. So, but yeah, that was a list we were going back and forth. That's in prep for tomorrow night. So, anyway, let's move on with the beer show.
Yeah, let's talk about some beer.
Let's talk about some beer. All right, let's start with our first question, as we ask everybody. Felt, and just so you guys know, because we have 2 Daves and myself on the show, we're not saying Dave at all. It's Felt and Samurai tonight.
It's the Dave free zone.
If you're following along, the Beer Samurai, Dave, it's just Samurai, and our guest, Dave Felt, is just Felt. So there you go.
That was the whole failed Dave Kleinchester joke.
Anyway, all right.
Didn't think that one through.
No, probably not.
No.
All right. So, what was the first craft beer you ever had, ish, that you can remember?
So, given this was a long time ago,
of course.
I could probably boil it down to 2.
Okay.
It was either Sierra Nevada Pale Ale,
Of course.
or Anchor Steam.
Cool. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 Cali beers.
2 calories.
Yeah. And, I really, when I found those, I was like, oh man, this is what beer can actually taste like. Like it can have flavor.
Sure. Yeah, and that's pretty much what anybody that has that beer and has that epiphany at that one moment, because there was a couple beers that you might have had along the way, and maybe they were craft, ish or whatever you want to call it, or especially years and years ago. But you might have first time you tasted it, you might have been like, what am I drinking here? Because you're not used to it, right? But once you have that first taste where it's like, oh wow, and you have that beer epiphany, that's a great moment.
The first non-traditional beer that I remember having was stealing I don't know if anybody remembers this, a tequila.
Oh God!
Out of my dad's fridge.
Yep.
And I thought that's what beer tasted like.
Right.
So I didn't want anything to do with beer for the longest time.
That's
a good promotion to not drink tequila. So
I don't think they even make it anymore.
No, they don't. It's
I really hope they don't.
Oh God, I hope so.
Not even around. Not even a close. Not even.
Yeah.
Around. But no. So yeah, look. I mean, we all like at least tasted beer at some point when we were younger, and whether it was intentional or stealing it, whatever the story was. But in any event, that moment that you actually have, and you're like, oh wow, this beer I've been drinking, or what I know as beer, really doesn't have to be that. So that's a good moment. So
it's like you said, it's an epiphany moment.
Yeah, you're like, oh, wow. Yeah. How long you been in the beer business? I mean, I know your story goes back a bit. You didn't just start yesterday, obviously. But what led you to the beer business? And we'll get into what you did before this.
So I've been in and around craft beer for 14 years now.
Okay.
And I was in college, and I got
It's a good place to be around craft beer.
Well, it was funny. I was 20 years old
when I was in college.
This is true.
I was 20 years old. I was in college, and I was really into Brian Setzer at the time, or the Stray Cats.
Yes.
Right.
And they had a song called Liquor Store. Was it Liquor Store or something like that? But he had a line like, got me a job down at the liquor store. And I was like, I should probably see it. Like
a job down at a liquor store.
That'd be a fun job. Yeah.
That's some serious fanboyism right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
He got a job at the liquor store. I have to have a job at the liquor store.
Was it that, or was it more like a subliminal thing, like must get job at liquor store?
Yeah. I mean, I was a degenerate before that, so that wasn't the catalyst.
Gotcha. Well, you could have been that much of a degenerate, depending on what form of degeneration you're talking about, because I mean, how many actual true degenerates listen to Stray Cats?
Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, it could, but
Yeah.
If you're a
But-
true degenerate, you wouldn't have been in college.
Rule of thumb, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, keep going.
So the liquor store that I worked at was a very boutique wine store with very high end wines and stuff. And I remember when I first started, there were 4 doors just for Bud Miller Coors.
Of course. Is that enough back then?
It's still kind of that way now.
No, but I mean, they had every size. They had pony bottles. They had 16-ounce 6-packs. They had all that. And then the 5th door on the wall had Yingling, Rolling Rock, and I think Sierra Nevada, and probably Anchor Steam. And then there was another import section, but
Right.
yeah. So that was right around the time that Dale's Pale Ale or Oscar Blues made it to New Jersey. And
give a plug for the store. What store was it? If it's still around?
Beekman's, yeah. Beekman's in Glenrock. Yeah.
Sure.
I still, still very friendly with those guys, shop there. And yeah, Dale's, I tasted Dale's one night and I couldn't believe how good of a beer that was.
Sure.
And then I remember the next 2 years of my life, I was trying to convince people that good beer came in cans.
Sure. No,
like it was, people hated me for suggesting that good beer could come in a can.
Right.
I also remember the owner freaking out because we brought in a case of Weyerbacher's Blithering Idiot. And he saw the price tag and freaked. And I think probably at that time it was about 70 maybe. But $70 for a case of beer at that time was a lot.
It was a lot of money. Of course
That's
it was.
a lot.
Even some of the crafts you were able to get back then, they were still high 20s, low 30s per case. So it was more than double, leaning towards triple of a case.
Yeah, but I mean,
such a good beer though.
And it was also what 12. Blithering Idiot's 12%, 13%,
12
something.
12. Okay. So, I mean, it was the only high ABV beer we even had in the store.
Brian, check that out. What's the ABV on it? He's watching. So
yeah, our producer's watching today.
Exactly. So anyway, So anyway, so you're at Beekman's. So you worked at Beekman's for a while then.
Yeah, I was there for a while, and then I got a job managing another liquor store not too far off. And
gotta throw it up so everyone knows why we're laughing.
Okay. We just had a comment from Mr. Joe Granat, and if you watch the show, you're familiar with Mr. Joe Granat. He said, "Hurry up and get to the part where you took my job."
We'll get there, Joe. We'll get there.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
It's not bitter or anything, though.
So I managed a liquor store in Ridgewood for a while, and while I was still in college, and then I graduated college and I started working as a copywriter for a while.
And sounds exciting.
I liked it. I missed the human interaction though of selling beer and that sort of educational thing.
Sure.
So the former owner of that store in Ridgewood opened up a place in Pompton Lakes, and he asked me to come in and help with the beer program and everything. And I was on board for it part-time. Yeah. And from there, I got a job at River Horse. I actually drove down one day and dropped off my resume and cover letter because I had no other idea how to get into the craft beer industry.
That
I'm
works.
not as good of a photographer as John Kleinchester.
Who is though? I mean, other than Matt Potensky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a better videographer
So-
Take a
and photographer.
Yeah,
Yes.
both.
So I ended up with River Horse for a while, and then I moved to Neshaminy Creek.
What did you do there?
What did you do in Neshaminy Creek?
So I was their whole New York sales manager.
Gotcha.
So I covered from Long Island to Albany,
There you go.
which,
Gotcha.
just
Small territory.
small.
Yeah,
It's,
small territory.
Yeah.
You could drive that twice in a day. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, quick aside, Brian said Blithering Eddie is 11.1%. There you go. So.
Oh, okay. All right. We weren't
Duly
far
checked.
off.
We weren't far off. There you go.
We overshot it a little.
So.
So then, at Neshaminy Creek, I got burnt out on that size of a territory, and Hunterdon Brewing Company, the distributor,
Mm-hmm.
had the Hoboken territory open.
Sure.
And they knew, because I've worked in New York and Manhattan and everything, that I could handle Hoboken.
Right. Right.
So I did Hoboken for 2 years, and then
Good thing about Hoboken is you can actually walk around Hoboken. Just park once and walk everywhere.
on certain
had
days
to.
you can swim.
Well,
Yeah.
that too. That's just true, too.
On certain days,
Take a boat, whatever you need to do.
Yeah,
You have options.
yeah.
During Ida, you could have swam around.
Exactly.
I mean, during a misting,
Right.
you got to get out of town.
It's a little low lying.
Yeah,
That territory you had for Neshaminy Creek, though, that's a pretty big territory. And I got to tell you, I mean, other than like a regional guy, just a sales guy,
yeah.
a sales manager of one specific, territory or whatever, that's got to be the second biggest territory that I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
And the only person that beat you out is Joe Granat.
Yeah, well,
When he worked for Schmaltz, he had from Boston to Maryland. So
That's a sizable territory.
he could drive that twice in one day. Right. So anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
Unless the cops caught him.
Right. Yeah. Right.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Bootlegging across state lines.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I did 2 years there, and the opportunity with Remarkable came up, and I thought their portfolio was amazing. I thought the owners, were amazing. So I jumped ship, and yeah, that's
And you've been there ever since.
ever since.
It's like what, about 2.5 years now?
Yeah, almost exactly.
Yeah. Well, I just remember when you started at Remarkable. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
that was about 6 months before the bar closed.
Yeah.
So before we closed the bar. But anyway, yeah. So that's awesome. So you've had your feet in it for quite a bit. You've been doing it
and
for a while.
like
now.
every aspect of it.
Sure.
Too.
Absolutely. Yeah. On the distribution side, the retail side, and
Brewery.
the consumption side too. So,
Oh yeah.
and then obviously the brewery.
Very heavy on the consumption side.
Exactly.
Long before.
Mm-hmm. That was the first for everybody, so it doesn't matter. It's not like anybody gets a really good job at a really good brewery or really good distributorship
And then has their first beer.
never tasted a beer before. So, but in any event, I'm sure it's
Think of
possible.
a few people.
Highly doubtful, but anyway, cool. So let's talk about Remarkable Letter. What's their backstory? Let's get into a little bit of that.
So, Remarkable was started by a bunch of guys that formerly worked for another Sheehan house up in New York.
Sure.
And that was after they started a craft distributor, and the Sheehans bought it. They worked for them, and then they weren't happy with the direction. So they decided to start another distributor, and
not let the Sheehan's buy it then.
What was that?
And not let the Sheehan's buy this one.
Yes, that is the
Right.
the main goal, I guess.
The business model.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anybody else?
All right. So, and that was how long? That was how long before? I mean, they were relatively, they were around before you jumped on it, but not long, right?
Oh yeah, they were. I want to say we're about 7.5 years now.
Yeah, about 5 years longer than you. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. And they started in New York, and then branched out.
Yeah.
And eventually got into New Jersey.
They started in the Albany area, and then they just kept branching out. And I mean, they really made a name for themselves by the brands that they were picking up.
Sure.
And when I was in New York with Neshaminy, I had met a few of their reps, and I always thought they were, out of all the other distributor reps and everything, they were very nice guys. They were very knowledgeable. They weren't big timing. They weren't, I got no time for you. It was
right. Yeah, no, I got it.
A very nice conversation always. So
Nice. That's awesome.
I respected them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, when people are down to earth like that, and they, it's a peer level at that point. It's not just like some automaton looking at you and saying, "You do this for me, goodbye," and out the door.
Yeah. So I actually had more remarkable reps show up to my Neshaminy Creek event at Blind Tiger than I did my other distributor in.
Oh, jeez, that's great.
Yeah. Wow.
What is this Blind Tiger you speak of?
Blind Tiger. I've heard of it.
It's a hole in the wall.
It's a hole in the wall dive bar. Nobody goes there.
Gotta,
some bleaker somewhere. It's whatever.
Yeah, I mean the beer. It's fine.
Is that in the village?
It's something like that. Yeah, Greenwich Village, right?
I don't know. It's south.
I'll have to check it out one of these days.
It's a great bar.
It's a great bar. That bar is, but the bar itself, you got to drink like this.
Oh yeah,
because you're shoulder to shoulder.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I remember quick Blind Tiger story. I remember I was going into Sear, to sell some beer, and I pull up on the side street. I'm driving around that day, and luckily there was and everywhere I was going, I knew I'd find parking somewhere, bopping around, because they have the muni meters there and everything else. So I pull up, and I got one spot, like right around the corner, like maybe 25 feet from, right on the side street there. And I pull up, and there's one spot open, of parking behind one other car. And I pull right up to it, and I look at it. It's a Volkswagen, and I'm looking at it, and there's an Alewife sticker on the back. I'm like, no, he's not in there. And I walk in, and sure enough, Smutty Pat Fondelier's in there. So, yeah, my 15-minute visit to Blind Tiger to sell our beer turned into
4 hours?
Probably 2.5 hours. So, but that was a good day. Anyway.
But Catherine's amazing.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, she's great. So, all right. So let's talk about some of these. You mentioned the portfolio is what really helped Remarkable make the name for themselves. Let's talk about the portfolio, because it's like one thing better than the next, really, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where to start. As far as
the state or the brewery? Oh no, it'd be the same thing, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it be the same thing? I think. Yeah, it would be the newest brewery. But
how about I'll start like the most local.
Yeah, there you go. Start local and work your way out. There you go.
Yeah. So we carry Ironbound hard cider, which I'm very connected to, because if it weren't for Ironbound, I would not be with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
We can tell that story.
Yeah, there's another story in there.
Yeah. And then
it doesn't involve Nepal. I don't.
No, but I think it involves somebody that was ready.
No. She was the sales director before Ready.
Before he was, yeah.
Yeah.
Said it involves somebody that was ready. I was just making a.
Oh, okay.
It's a pun.
It was a pun. Anyway, continue.
So then I would say it's a toss-up because my geography's bad. It would either be 2SP Brewing out of
Philadelphia.
Well, it's Delco.
Yeah, it's just south of Philly. Yeah,
just south. Yeah. Or Mud Hen.
2SV is probably closer to Mud End. Mud End's all the way down to Cape May, so or
Okay.
Parkwood, but
Yeah, my Philly geography is just bad.
it's close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And then next up would be, I mean, Grimm is
Brooklyn.
Right in Brooklyn.
7 miles away from me. It's so we got Grimm. We
Probably
just
20. I think it's about 23 miles from me, but it would probably take about 2 hours to get there.
23? It's not 23 miles from you.
Maybe.
Grimm? No. You're more like you're maybe 10. It would
What town
you
are
would
you
have to drive
Yeah, maybe.
20. You have to drive 23 miles to get
yeah,
there.
that's
but
what it is. As
as
the crow
flies,
flies, yeah, it's probably only about 7 miles.
right.
It took me. We had a sales meeting there on Friday. How long do you think it took me to get home?
Where we don't know where home. I don't know where home is.
Bloomfield.
Bloomfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you drove.
Yep.
7 miles away.
Hour 45.
I would say 2 hours and 35 minutes. 3 hours and 35 minutes. 5 hours and 35 minutes.
4.5 hours.
4.5
You sure
hours.
it wasn't 4 hours and 35 minutes?
See,
Give or take
Okay.
5.
Dave, this is where you need to stay at Grimm after the meeting's over. Wait until the traffic dies down. Have a few beers. Have something to eat too, obviously, and then drive home. And,
So we ended the meeting, and I saw that the
it's not like I'm
traffic-
saying anything that you didn't think of, but
I saw the traffic, and it was like, so it would normally be an hour 15 for me,
right.
which is still absurd.
It is.
And it might be 17 miles, but besides the point. So we were leaving, and I saw that it was going to take me like 2.5 hours. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I called up my buddy in Brooklyn, and I was like, I'll meet you for a beer. Let's hang out. I'll leave at 3:45.
Right.
Apparently that was a much worse idea.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're leaving anywhere in the city, Brooklyn, the city, whatever, especially on a Friday, and you're not on the road by like 1:30 before 2:00, forget it. Don't even leave till like 7 at night.
Yep.
Seriously. Don't even bother.
It was so
There's
bad.
no point. Unless you want to not be home till 7 at night. Now you just had a nice day in the city, and you could drive home in an hour and a half.
Well, I was really glad I didn't, because that was the first Devils preseason game.
I got you.
And I was going to buy tickets, and
You would have missed it.
I would have missed pretty
You
much
would've missed
everything. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did go. What are they? 4-0 now in the preseason.
3-0.
3-0. I thought they were.
That was
5-0.
the night that they beat the Rangers 7-2.
Right. Right. I just want to make everybody aware that we are talking. This is the preseason. But anyway, continue.
Yeah.
I just had to say it.
I mean,
Anyway, they look like they have a really good team this year. I gotta
it's
say.
got me feeling really good,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I have this feeling a lot being Giants, Mets, and Devils. I'm very used to this
Well,
feeling.
the three of us are two of those three together. So. We're Giants, Mets, but Rangers. But
The Rangers.
but
been a
I,
long, hard
however,
road.
do not hate the Devils. I can't speak for somebody else.
No, I don't hate the Devils.
Yeah. I wasn't necessarily saying you were somebody else. I was just saying.
You just
But
hate
anyway.
Brodeur.
The mouth breather? No.
Yeah.
The mouth breather. I've never heard that one before.
Have you ever watched him do an interview?
Yeah.
We played a good game,
Yeah, because nobody else in the world.
and he
breathes
just
through their
drops
mouth.
he just leaves his mouth open. I always wanted just a fly to go buzzing in there.
I never noticed that.
Oh, yeah, watch one of his interviews. Just hangs the mouth open after every sentence.
I got a funny Brodeur story for you if you want to hear it. But, and by the way, Brian says he doesn't hate the Devils either. Or
That's
I'm
good.
sorry, he said I don't hate the Devils either. There we go. And he said, by the way, there's an A in Village for sure. And do you think the blithering idiot lives there? So, I think he was trying to tell a story. It's National Storytelling Day, right? I think that's where
Okay.
he's going with that. So, just guessing. Anyway, Brodeur, really quick. I was shooting a commercial for that agency. I was partners in years ago, and we did a regional Ford spot. And it was Ford saving everybody money, right? So it was Brodeur in the net saving pucks, right? Saving goals. Like, save time, save money, save, right? Cheesy, but we did it anyway. So we had him on camera afterwards, and we had we made big cue cards, like letters this big for the words, right? And in his French Canadian accent and everything else, he's reading it. Oh, we must have gone through like 90 takes, and it was 3 lines, right? And it was, yeah. And he said, and I quote, and I'll always remember this. He looked at me and says, "John, give me a break. I'm a hockey player, and we're not that smart. Plus, I'm French Canadian to boot."
To boot. About.
To boot.
It's
To
to
boot.
boot.
Not about to boot.
Or a boot.
Right.
The boot.
It was pretty funny. Anyhow, so yeah.
Where were we?
We
in
were
the
at
line of
Grimm. We
questioning?
stopped at Grimm.
Oh, we're stopped at Grimm.
We had we have Ironbound Cider, 2SP, Mud Hen, and Grimm. So we had
got a
20
lot
minutes
to go through.
aside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're scratching the surface. Then we have Torch and Crown.
Nice.
5 Borough.
Torch and Crown is just steps away from Torst, right? No, Torch and Crown.
Torch and Crown's in Manhattan.
Manhattan. What am I thinking of? Something and something. Maryland. Anyway.
Well, no, Torch and Crown, their brewing facility, I feel like was.
No, I'm thinking of something else entirely.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
Well, Greenpoint's not far away from Torch.
No.
Oh,
I mean,
not
it's
at all.
literally steps from Torst. It's I'll come up with it.
All right.
Anyway, Torch and Crown. I was actually at Torch and Crown. About 3 weeks ago?
Something like that.
Great spot. Good beer.
We haven't gotten a chance to go there yet, but yeah, we've tasted the beer.
Nice.
We just brought in 5 Borough Brewing.
Nice.
So
Keg and Lantern. It was Keg and Lantern is
Keg
what
and
I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
And then we got, I guess, Foreign Objects would probably be the next one.
Gotcha.
Common Roots.
Sure. And they have their story too. Just from a couple of years ago was
Crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they survived everything that they went through, like.
Well, they had a lot of the craft beer community rally around them. I mean, it's a couple of guys got together and said, "Hey, we'll contract for you while you're doing your stuff." So right.
But
so
then
at least they weren't out of business per se, other than the tap room, obviously. But
then they were about to reopen their newly redone tap room, and COVID hit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like you got over your brewery burning down.
Right.
Here's a pandemic.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Exactly. But they're all been up now, though.
Oh yeah, they're up.
Yeah. No, they're
doing really well. Everything's really good with them. So that's Saratoga. I guess Thin Man would be the next one.
They're out in by Rochester, right? Buffalo.
They're in Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
Oh, Swiftwater. Swiftwater's in Rochester. And then Vermont, we've got Lawson's, Upper Pass, Zero Gravity.
Yep.
Hermit Thrush.
Like that.
There you go.
I'm drinking a Green State Lager right now,
Right,
so
right.
I should have Hermit Thrush. But I feel like I'm forgetting one.
Upper Pass, Zero Gravity, Hermit Thrush, and
Lawson's.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good. And then we have Lone Pine. We have Widowmaker.
Dave and I were just at a month and a half ago.
Yeah, if you're going to go Lone Pine, Definitive as well.
Sure.
Definitive we have. Yeah. I should probably look at the website because it's
Did you I think you skipped Industrial Arts, didn't you?
We do not have Industrial Arts in New Jersey.
It's on your website.
In
For
New York.
It must be New York.
New York.
Yeah, for New York.
Mm-hmm. So.
Oh yeah, because I've got it set for like 10 miles with my location, which takes in New York.
Oh yeah.
So there you go.
And then, I'll just sum it up. Then we have McKellar.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 new breweries. Well, not they're not new by any means.
New to the area, new to you distributing them.
Two
New to us.
breweries that, we brought Jester King into New Jersey for the first time.
And Samurai thanks you, as do I, and many other people, but Samurai.
Love their beer.
And we also brought in Anchorage.
Another big thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just had an Anchorage. I believe it was a triple barrel barrel aged stout. It was a local release. I mean, it wasn't anything. It was a distributor or whatever. A friend of ours was actually in Anchorage and picked up a couple bottles and brought them home or whatever. We had one in a bottle share. Oh my God, this thing was so good.
That wax top can.
It's the wax top one. It was
a
can.
No, it
wasn't the can. No, it was a bottle. It was a bottle. Yeah.
And then Prairie is another big one for us. Somebody's gonna get mad at me for forgetting their brand, but
let's see. Here we go.
What do we have up here?
Do I have the list up? Here we go.
Perennial.
New York.
That's just New York.
Well, if I do it, then I'll. Yeah.
Lord Hobo.
New York. We also have D&V International, which is an importer, and they import St. Bernardus, Duchess de Bourgogne, and Brewery Comsus, which I always just brutalize that name.
Now, I'm sure this one's just New York because I haven't seen it here. Green Bench.
That's gotta be New York.
Gotta be, because I'd be buying so much of that stuff up.
There you go. Well, you know what though? It doesn't matter because this isn't just a New Jersey show, so we can talk about the beers you distribute in New York.
And
too.
I work in Manhattan, so
exactly. So
I could find these things.
What you call it? Arrowwood.
Oh yeah, Arrowwood. Arrowwood's fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah, wow, I totally forgot about that.
There you go. You distribute in New Jersey brands. You distribute in Brick City up in New York as well, too, right?
Yep. Yeah, and
Captain Lawrence.
Yeah. So we distribute Captain Lawrence everywhere but my territory.
Right. Gotcha.
So
everywhere but your territory, because they're with Peerless for North Jersey,
yeah.
Exactly.
Which I'm bummed about because that was one of the first growing up in Bergen County.
Sure,
that was the most local craft beer that I had,
right,
for a long time. Well, it was that and Defiant.
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely. And that was what you had. That was the closest anyway to northern Bergen County. Sure.
Yeah.
So you have D&V International coming in through you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all those brands as well, so obviously.
Yeah, and then we have the former Shelton Brothers portfolio in New Jersey.
Oh,
nice.
Okay. The whole former Shelton Brothers portfolio?
Yep.
Awesome. Everything that was in New Jersey or everything, period?
We have the rights to everything
that they had in their portfolio.
Gotcha. Whether or not we will see some of that in New Jersey is still that's up to import.
Because some of it will be nice to see in New Jersey.
Again.
Some of it you will see in New Jersey, and I think I know which one you're asking about.
Yeah. I think you know what I mean.
But we brought in three Fontaines. We brought in Fantôme. We're very big on the quality over quantity.
Sure, absolutely. No, that's what it's about too. Now you also brought into what do you got? I don't know whether it's in New Jersey or not. Medusa. Is this in New York?
Medusa is, I believe, Massachusetts.
Okay. Medusa's from Massachusetts, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're in New Jersey.
You got them in New Jersey.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You brought them in, yeah. And what is it? I always screw up the pronunciation. Is it Laughgill or Laugill? Lockgill.
Yeah.
Lockgill.
So
I had one of the sours last year. Actually, they were pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was really good. They're from
they're-
the UK, right?
Ireland.
Ireland, yeah.
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 They're
Close enough.
Oh,
I know I'm gonna get
Don't say
shit on
that
now.
on earth,
I am.
man.
Don't.
I am. I can say that because I am part Irish. I'm like a little
Yeah,
Irish.
you've been-
Just a smidge. Right?
Yeah.
A little smidge.
I think Mr. Felt may have more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rare form.
Rare form, yep, out of Troy.
Mm-hmm.
9-pin out of Albany.
Sure. Ciders, yeah, right.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
cider.
So let's talk about a
We have
yeah.
a lot.
There's a lot, and of course, you always said zero gravity, right? Let's talk about some of the bigger ones. Let's talk about Lawson's for a minute. Let's talk about them for a couple minutes. They have a really good portfolio. I mean, Sip of Sunshine's been on everybody's list for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was one of the beers that for the longest time, I think a lot of people did not think they would ever see in New Jersey.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely. It was something that got to get some Sip of Sunshine. Let's take a ride. All right, let's
Driving to Connecticut. Yep.
Exactly.
I'm super happy that I get to sell that brand. I'm super happy that it's in New Jersey. The one thing that annoys me more than anything else is when people tell me that Sip of Sunshine was better when it was brewed in Vermont.
Okay.
I've heard that.
I've heard people say that too.
Was never brewed in Vermont.
Never brewed in Vermont.
Never.
It was never brewed in Vermont.
I just want to clear that
Exactly.
right up.
Sip of Sunshine's never been brewed in Vermont. And now, if anybody actually knows what we're talking about, they can actually make the connection as to why we used the actual intro we did use.
Because of where
particular show.
I was wondering. I heard that and I was like, oh, maybe they change it.
So no, it's normally banter from another show that ends in laughter or whatever. That's what goes into the intro.
Okay.
But so anytime I'm editing shows, anytime they're going up and the audio's going up on the podcast, afterwards, obviously not the live show, but the Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, all of them. Anytime it's going up on that, as I'm going through the show, anything that's funny, I take out, I put a snippet, and I put it in a folder. And anytime I sit down and I start making intros, I make them out and I list what it is. So I'm like, I'm using that one tonight, and that was why.
Yeah, after I saw that Kleinchester was on, I was like, man, these guys are just taking anybody they can. They just.
Well,
John, if you're out there listening, you might want to call in right now.
and no, we asked John before we asked you.
John is a very good friend.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I couldn't think of somebody that I like. Him and I go to wrestling shows all the time.
Sure.
He's a big wrestling fan, which is the weirdest thing.
That is crazy.
You look at him and you don't think. You look at me and you're like, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I get
that
it.
guy
Wrestling
probably
fan,
likes
yeah.
wrestling.
Right.
Yeah. You look at John and you're like, no, that guy, he probably likes he likes soccer.
I could see soccer. Looking at John and stereotyping him, soccer.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Sure.
I know him. I'm allowed to do
I mean,
that.
and a picture with the Rapino shirt on his Facebook page for the last 6 years, it seems right now. But
I haven't had a Facebook in like 5 years.
Which is why, and I do apologize. Normally, obviously, I pull a picture of somebody off of Facebook, and one that usually pertains to beer or something like that. Since you don't have a Facebook page, right? I had to look around, and I had to go to LinkedIn, right? So I went to LinkedIn, and boom, that's why.
That's awesome.
That's why this is the intro page. So what are you giving a toast at a wedding, or?
Yeah, that was I was given the toast. I was the best man at my brother's wedding.
There you go. All right.
I was given the toast, and I thought that was the most professional looking picture that had been taken of me.
And there you go. And it was on LinkedIn, so I was like, okay, well, I'm like pulling a picture off of somewhere, like it's in a Google search or whatever. And he's going to say, why did you use that? It's on his LinkedIn profile. Okay, I'm sure he's going to be fine with it. So.
Yeah. And if don't ever Google search David Phelps, because it's just like you get weird. Or do it.
Or do it, because you get weird. Right, exactly. So.
But it's really funny. So for my brother's, for my best man speech for my brother, my whole thing was that he was the rough draft before my parents hit perfection because he's older. So I said,
it's usually the case that the second born is the
better.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, always.
Never.
So I said,
both of you fine. You can think whatever you want, but
there were a lot of good sports analogies there. I think I said I'm your Cal Ripken Jr. to your Billy Ripken.
Nice. That's a good one.
There you go. Good reference.
Yeah,
that one works.
And then I think there was I'm your 98 Yankees to you're the 92 Yankees. It was just like
there you go.
Kept
this
going.
whole thing.
There you go. And Met fan making a Yankee reference.
Yeah.
That's even interesting.
It's brewed. But what else was I going to do? I couldn't be
86 Mets to the 76 Mets? I mean, you could have done that,
But he's a Yankees fan.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
All right. So there you go.
You open another beer, Dave. What are you drinking?
Conehead.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I switched over to a Grim.
Yes.
Nice.
Got the bump going.
You got bump going. I'll throw that crawl up.
Have you guys been to their tasting room?
Oh, I have, yeah.
I have not. Actually, I have not. And I mean, that's an area where I usually frequent, but I actually have not. Since they've opened, I've been there twice. Been not there, but been into Williamsburg and that area of Brooklyn twice. I just haven't gotten there. And it's been, I must say, I honestly, the last time I was actually in anywhere in Manhattan, Brooklyn, or whatever, is before the pandemic actually started. I have not been in. Just haven't gone. I haven't had need to. I mean, there hasn't been a reason to go up or anything, So
yeah, I completely. I didn't like going to New York before there was a pandemic.
Right.
During a pandemic, I liked it even less.
Right.
But there's no traffic.
This is true.
It took me 4.5 hours to get home.
No, there's no traffic going in. There's no traffic going in.
Yeah, going in. Yeah.
That's like, it's free to get in, but they charge you to leave. So
yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing about New Jersey. It's free to come into New Jersey, but every bridge and toll, you want to leave the state, you got to pay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's weird. I say that when I think about it, though. I haven't been to New York since before the pandemic, but I've been to Pittsburgh. I've been to Portland. I've been to Boston.
I love Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's great.
I got to get to Pittsburgh. Yeah. Someone owes me a trip to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's such a great city.
Yeah, it is. Everything about it is really good.
John, we got to get back into Brooklyn.
Yeah, we got to go to Brooklyn.
I mean, I've been a few times since restrictions have eased.
You have. I got to get over there. And we got to get over there too because I think we owe somebody a visit and a live an Instagram live video from there too.
Oh. Would that be Jesse?
That would be Jesse. Yeah. So.
Interborough, not too far from Grimm, and then if you go the other direction from Interborough, walking out of Grimm. You can get up to 18th Ward, and that is a cool place to hang out.
Sure.
Really cool place to hang out.
For a second there, John, it sounded like you were a bill collector. We have to pay somebody a visit.
We have to pay somebody a visit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what type of bill collector are you talking about?
Yeah, we got to pay somebody a visit.
Is there a... Oh, Jesus.
So I'm going to open my third beer since you guys did.
This is a samurai sword, by the way.
There you go.
It's wooden.
I'll be opening
you with blunt force trauma, but
I'll wait.
Just open your damn beer, then tell us what it is.
Checkmate I was up at Bradley Brew Project in Bradley Beach, New Jersey. I put the crawl up.
How, 7 miles from you?
3.
3.
And opened this is a dark Czech lager called Checkmate. And they had it actually it was just fresh last week and had it on tap, and it was phenomenal. In fact, one of the guys I know in there, he says, you got to try this. He says, in fact, plan on leaving here with a 4-pack because I know you're going to want to. And after I came back in for my second one, I said, yeah, and I'll have another. And yeah, you're right. I'll be leaving with a 4-pack. So there we go.
I always like very clever names, and I really wish a brewery. I'm sure somebody's done it by now, but like a hockey themed Czech Pilsner, Hip Check.
Hip Check.
I'm sure it's been done. Let's take a look here.
Check that out. Check that out.
I'm going to check that Hip Check. Victory Brewing does a Hip Check.
There you go.
Oh, I think that's specifically for the Flyers.
It is, because considering the label.
Is it gritty?
It should be gritty, shouldn't it?
There you go. Yeah, should have been gritty.
Is.
Oh, that's very recent for them.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite videos, as much as now the Flyers I do hate. We'll get that out of the way right now.
Well, I mean, that's something that a Devils fan can concur with.
Yes. But one of my favorite videos is watching Gritty body check children. Love that video.
So I will say this. I don't hate an actual team.
It's the fan base.
It's the fan base. 100%.
Fan base and a couple of players too, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's players too, and I'll even spell mine out for you. There's only one team in all professional sports. Here, let me pull off the crawl because I'm already drinking the beer. There's only one team in all professional sports that I actually cannot stand. One team, and it's no team is in Philly either. And you could probably guess, being a Giants fan, who that is.
Oh, I know who it is.
I know you know who it is.
We'll let Mr. Felt guess.
Cowboys?
There you go.
There you go.
Didn't take you long, did it?
But I think the Flyers might be the only team I do hate.
Yeah.
I don't hate the boys. But it's that fan base.
Yeah, well, there's only one player in all of hockey that I have major disdain for.
Well, for me, he's actually a Penguin.
Well, mine is actually a Capital. So.
Oh God, really?
Wilson?
Yeah.
You like Wilson?
No, but geez, like.
How do you hate Wilson? And
are you just because of last season with Panarin and?
Well, when he smashed Artemi Panarin's face on the ice, I mean, it kind of makes me not like him,
Come on, you guys had some of the biggest agitators.
Of course we did. That's great.
Can I curse?
Yes, you can curse.
Okay.
Watch your fucking language.
You guys had what, Barnaby? You had Barnaby, Avery. What
do we have Barnaby for? 2 years?
Yeah, and you had Avery for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing though. Our winning percentage went way up when he was on the ice.
You know what's funny though? I mean, we talk about this now, like what Tom Wilson did and everything else. We talk about this now, but if you go back 40 years, everybody did that. Yeah. That was rule of thumb, and it doesn't matter what team you were on, even the shittiest team, caught like that.
But the other thing too is
that's why hockey players literally had no teeth back in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
early 80s anyway, but.
That's why they don't wear helmets, because their brains were already mush.
Right.
Only one hockey player I hate, and that would be Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
Nah.
Hate him.
If he was on the Rangers, you would.
Well, he'd love him.
No.
Yeah.
There's been many players that were fantastic players that came to the Rangers that I hated. Still hated them. It doesn't matter that you put the sweater on.
So when Eric Lindros came to the,
I didn't like him.
You didn't like him?
No, I didn't like him. It was awful.
The way he played on the Rangers, nobody liked him.
And then when he would play,
that was also after a Stevens hit.
Right.
I loved that hit. I loved Scotty, and I thought it was beautiful that him and Messier went into the hall together.
Yeah,
as they should have.
I was there.
You were.
Without me and a bunch of my buddies, we went up to Toronto to go see a band, and we were like, let's just go see the Hall of Fame. It was 2 Russians and me. So they're like, we're in Toronto. We're going to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Of course.
Now, when you say that, I'm picturing these these you ever seen the movie Fletch? Not Fletch. He was in it.
Spies Like Us.
Spies Like Us. Thank you.
Yeah.
When they're in Russia and they're up on the
Exactly what you're talking about.
the road to Dushanbe or whatever it is, and they're sitting in the mink coats with the big hats and everything else. That's what I'm. Here's I picture you and those 2 guys walking in.
No, but like I'm the short guy.
That's my point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So like, yeah, they were both very tall Russians, and
Right.
we just went to the Hall of Fame because we were like, we got time to kill before the show, and we were walking through, and nobody was walking around the Hall of Fame, and we had no idea why until we got to it, and then it was Stevens and Messier being inducted, and it was, I think it wasn't the actual ceremony, of course, but it was just like their sort of
the unveiling of their plaques, whatever.
I think they were just like taking questions from the media.
Right.
Because this is also like, I don't know, 4:00 on a Thursday.
Right. Normally those ceremonies don't happen at 4 p.m. on a Thursday. So.
Yeah.
Right. But that's great. Well, I'm glad we can get in some sports, and I mean, when was the last time we had like a hockey conversation on the show?
We haven't.
I know we rarely have them on the sports podcast.
Oh man, if you guys want to have a hockey conversation on the sports podcast,
I will give you a call.
I will be way more heated about that than I'll ever be about beer.
I've told the story before. I've definitely
Nothing heated about beer though.
I've definitely said it on the the sports podcast. I think I might have said it on here too. I'm not sure, but in any event, a buddy of mine, Al. He actually does a wrestling podcast on Tuesday nights opposite us. He's like on while we're on Tuesday nights on Facebook Live. He does a wrestling podcast, but he is one of the like head lead Zamboni guys for the Islanders, and whatchamacallit. He actually used to work for the Devils. Actually worked for the Devils, and then he moved on to the Islanders or whatever. And
good promotion.
As apparently every Devils player. Right. Everybody associated with the Devils does now.
Right. You leave Newark, you go to Brooklyn, and then out to the island. But in any event, he was at Barclays Center one night. But I think it was at the bar actually. My cousin calls me up. He says, "Hey, what are you doing tonight? You got something going at the bar?" I'm like, "No, I'm just hanging tonight." He goes, "You want to go to an Islanders game?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He says, "Yeah, we'll stop at Spite and Dival first. We'll bounce around. We'll go over to the game, have a beer afterwards, shoot back." I'm like, "Yeah, it'll be a good night." All right, so we hang out. So we go over, and we get to the Barclays Center. We go in. And we're sitting there, and I mean it's empty. It's like it's a Tuesday night, right? So I think they were playing Minnesota. I mean there's nobody there.
Yeah.
There's like 6 people in the whole entire. Right? Now there was a bunch of people there, but it wasn't like
half the seats were taken up by a Ford.
Right. Yeah. Right. So we're sitting there, and we're about I don't know, maybe about 5 minutes before the end of the first period, and I had just texted Al that I'm here. Right? He says, "Where are you?" So I'm texting him. I look at Adam and I go, "I'll tell you what." I go, "The next round's on you. I'll bet you the next round." I said, "I'll bet you the next round that I can get the Zamboni driver to stand up or to wave to me." I just said to wave to me when he comes around after the first period. He says, "You got a deal." All right. So shook on it. Boom. I texted Al. Blah blah blah. So Al comes out. He's going around. Boom. As he's coming back out to center ice, I stood up and I just waved. He stops the Zamboni center ice, stands up on the seat, and starts waving like this back at me. Adam goes, "How the hell did you do that?"
Very nice.
So I told him. I couldn't let him buy the beer. I told him. Well, actually, I told him after he bought the beer. And then I bought another round after that. So it evened out. But it was pretty good. Anyway.
That's along the lines of, what's the Paul Newman hockey movie?
Slapshot.
There might be a couple goons in that one where he walks in the bar. This beautiful blonde walks in, and he bets the guy $50 he'd go home with that blonde.
Right.
Blonde was his wife. Yeah.
His wife. Yeah. That's awesome.
There was so I bounced at a bar briefly, and there was one Saturday night where the Devils had a 1:00 game, and they were doing the encore, and I bet one of the bartenders all my drinks after closing. if the Devils won the game.
Right.
I was already at the game.
It's a repeat. It's a repeat.
She didn't realize it was an encore.
She didn't realize it was not.
Nice.
The fifth drink, I told her.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's
great.
nice.
Anyway, but yeah, so I'm glad we got in some sports talk. So that's awesome. And really quick, since you're a Met fan, and I haven't asked Dave this anyway because obviously Rojas has gone as of yesterday. Who's replacing him? Who do you think's replacing? Start with Felt. We'll start. Should play the Jeopardy music.
Yeah, I mean, this is like.
I mean, who the hell knows, right? We don't know what Sandy Alderson's going to do. We don't know who's coming in. Is it Billy Bean? Is it Theo Epstein? Who the hell knows? But who's on your short list? Give us your top three. Do it that way. Who's on your short list?
I don't even think I have one because, like, if this was the Wilpons, I could have said
If this was the Wilpons, it'll be somebody we don't even know.
Yeah. I could have made a better guess if this was the Wilpons. Right. I would have said John Tortorella is going to be.
They might do a good job there.
There you go.
Yeah, he's going to get him fired up. I think this is the hardest part about it is that it's just.
I have a couple in mind, but
no, bring Bobby Valentine back.
There you go. I wouldn't mind Bobby V. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind Terry Collins, but I think Buck's the way to go. And it's never going to happen if Sandy Alderson has 100% say about it. It's not going to happen. But I think Buck's the way to go. And I wouldn't even mind. And I know a lot of people are going to scoff at this. I wouldn't even mind giving Wally a chance. You know, and that'll never happen unless Sandy Alderson is actually gone. So
wait, I just want to clarify. When you're saying Buck, you do not mean Joe Buck.
No.
And to get him out of the booth, it would get him out of the booth.
That's
so
true. That's true. There is a win-win there. Not a win-win, but it's a win. There is a win. It's not a win-win, but it's a win.
It's a lose-win. But
it's a lose-win, but it's a
win. But we're
win
used to the Mets losing anyway, so get him out of the booth. Yeah.
Buck Showalter.
Oh.
Buck Showalter, yeah. And when I say Wally, obviously I mean Backman. I don't mean Wally like Beaver's brother.
Not Wally World.
Not Wally World.
Not Roy
not
Wally.
Roy Wally. No, not Roy Wally. Yeah. So in any event, Samurai, you want to weigh in? Or,
Gene Lynch.
I think he'd do a good job.
I think he'd do a fantastic job.
Although Al posted earlier today about it, and Brian said they should hire me, is what he said. So
that'd be a fantastically awful idea.
It would be entertaining, though, wouldn't it?
You'd be thrown out of every damn game.
Every game, but
every single game.
My point. At least
it would be entertaining.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'd go with Gene Lynch.
Right.
Right at the top there. Yeah, Dave Felt. I hear this guy Dave Felt knows a little bit about baseball.
There you go. All right.
A little bit about baseball. Knows no damn thing. Doesn't know damn thing about hockey, but baseball, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I can go with that. But no, bring Bobby Valentine back. Is he still in Japan?
No, he's around. I think he was doing some broadcasting this year.
So he's free.
Exactly. So I don't know if he could be free.
Or Belichick.
Belichick.
Just
not Belichick's son. I don't know if you saw him the other night.
No.
Oh my God. He just looked like a train wreck on the field. I mean, I was sticking his tongue out. He was smiling like that. It was odd. It was very odd. I'll send both of you a.
You think he licks windows? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what he does.
I need another beer. I mean, Felt's on like his fifth.
I know.
Well, I don't know how many banquet beers he had before he came on the show.
This is true. He did start before we did. So
you guys kept me hanging.
We did.
John's good for that.
I'm good. So in any event, all right. While he gets a beer, let me ask you this. Let's get back. Let's wrap up a little bit of remarkable.
Yeah.
Lawson's. As we said before.
You mentioned Interborough. I had to get it Interborough.
There you go. Grab an Interborough.
There you go.
Whatchamacallit? You did have a brand, and you no longer have a brand.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's no secret.
No, not at all. And it's actually something that's super common
Sure.
That just
Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up. That's why I wanted to bring it up. So.
I should have saved it for the next show. It's pink.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't understand that. But there comes a time when things change.
Sure.
So does your business change, or does the brewery find a business that better suits them? And it just happens.
Right. Of course. Yeah. A contract's a contract when, it's up and, things have to change or whatever. And
it's happened to everybody. Every brewery has changed distributors. It's nothing new. It's nothing against anybody.
The beer that Samurai's drinking went through that. They were with
I missed.
Interborough.
Oh yeah, I'm drinking a fresh to death.
Yeah, Interborough is
we're going through it right now because Brian's trying to renegotiate his contract with us.
Brian's trying to renegotiate his contract.
He wants to double his salary again.
I honestly, I think I'm going to cave and I'm going to triple his salary.
Oh, you're going to give him above he's asking?
I'm going to go above what he's asking.
Is he union?
Our union. We have a union for him.
Yeah.
Right. We just placed him in our union.
He's in the union of the snake.
Right. It's on the rise.
Like the salary.
Exactly. But in any event, but you know what? Well, let's call a spade a spade. Let's call it is. He makes nothing. So if we give him double or triple what he makes, he's still making
nothing.
There you go. So, but in any event, there you go. But he benefits from us mentioning him on the show all the time, and of course, he's on the show all the time. Anyway, so
what does he benefit from? Like he's got a side business that we're hawking. What does he benefit?
We give him notoriety, right? His name is mentioned on a podcast weekly, basically. So
just pay him in cryptocurrency.
I think we can pay him in crypto. Yeah, we can.
Pay him in buttons.
There you go. Anyway, all right. Did you want to mention that brewery we were talking about before, or you want to let it go and we just, it was just the fact?
No, now I'm curious.
I will. So it was Jack's Abbey.
Ah, that's right.
They started growing just as Remarkable started growing, so it was very much a hand in hand thing. And a lot of it had to do with fallout from their Massachusetts distributor, and we were collateral damage. It's the way these things go. I mean, Hunterdon went through it with Dogfish Head.
Sure. Well, there's nothing they could really do about that because Sam Adams was just so much bigger than Dogfish Head, and Sam Adams was already in Coors houses. So with Sam Adams and Dogfish Head molding, they could have done it. They could have had it separate, but it just wasn't.
That's a tough one because I still bounce this back and forth. Do you really think that Sam Adams was selling more beer than Dogfish Head?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like mid Middle America?
Every chain restaurant carries Sam Adams.
I mean, yeah, but they also carry Lagunitas.
But they don't. Not every one of them, and not every one of them carries Dogfish Head. So Sam Adams is in almost every single one of them. Yeah. You go to almost any chain restaurant, you got Sam Seasonal. Is on every friggin' menu.
Yeah.
Well,
and some of them have a seasonal and have Boston Lager, and they have bottles of it too. And you go in any store, especially the bigger stores, but even obviously the smaller ones, Sam Adams, shelf space is at least matching Dogfish Head, if not exceeding it. So,
always.
Yeah. Well, so I take Lagunitas as my example because,
and you keep in mind too, we're talking about Coney Island, we're talking about Angry Orchard. We're talking about all of the brands that Sam Adams has.
Just Sam
ownership
Adams.
Of.
Yeah.
I was talking just even Sam Adams.
I'm talking just even Sam Adams. If you add them on,
brand.
then it's even bigger. So.
Yeah.
But So that's there's a lot to be said there. But yeah, that's the case. I mean, their reach was just so more, and they're already with the core systems. They weren't luring them away. And could they make it work in 2 different distribution networks? Sure, they could, but it just makes much more sense for them to be under the same house.
Oh, completely fiscally and everything. It just it makes everything easier.
Sure. But,
can I pardon myself for a second, guys?
Go for it. Go. You get another beer?
No, he's got to get rid of.
I know what you're doing.
Get rid of what he.
So, well, at least he's not. At least he's not going to do what, others have done on this show.
We have had some wonderful tinklage on the show.
It's been interesting. I do have to say.
We need to start telling the guests beforehand. Get some Depends.
Right. Yeah. There you go. well. Hold on. It depends, right?
It does depend.
Right.
But we'd still know when you just see.
Yeah. It's like, excuse me, can I go to the bathroom first?
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm good.
You forgot the thank you. I forgot the thank you. So anyway, cool. All right. Well, this has been great. So
we'll see you next week.
Imagine when comes back and we're not even on the show. It's gone, and we sign off and we're just gone.
Oh, there's a way we could make that simulated. So you would think.
Just as soon as I see him walk back over, I'll put the screen up, and we just won't say anything.
Just put up a splash screen.
Just put up a splash screen and leave it alone. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so as soon as we get back, we'll go to the top 3s because we're decently into this now. And
we've actually talked some beer.
We have talked some beer, so we have. But in any
by the way, this beer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
what is it? I'll have to get some. What is it?
Yeah, you got to get some of this. This is the I've got one. Fresh to Death.
Fresh to Death.
Death.
Yeah.
So it's like apparently
it's a good thing Jesse was in the music industry and specifically the rap, so we understand where he's coming from. So, Dave, we were actually toying with the idea of throwing this up right before you walk back and not saying a word, just being silent and seeing if you.
You need, John, for instance like this.
Yeah.
You need a splash screen created that says experiencing technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
Difficulties.
Yeah, shake that. Or thank you for watching the show. We'll see you next week. Throw that up.
But it's got to be the Simpsons one.
There you go. Or the old time, the
oh,
pattern.
with the Indian in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Test pattern. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That'd be
yeah.
Cool, so. And
we don't mess with our guests enough.
And we have to do that. Yeah, just throw that up, and it's like, yeah, that'd be funny. Anyway, all right. So why don't we do the top 3s?
Oh, we have those.
We have a top 3 tonight. Okay.
Spiel time.
We'll get to it. Top 3s, folks. We do a top 3, and this is for Dave more so than anybody else that normally watches the show. We do a top 3. Why do we do a top 3? Because if we did a top 10, it would take too long. He's going to open Madonna now.
God, I love that goddamn
I'm going to be pissed off.
That is one of my favorite. Anyway, go ahead.
So he's going to open Madonna. So many men have said that over the years. And then they had a beer afterwards.
Well, and a smoke. and a penicillin shot.
There you go. Right, exactly. So in any event. All right. So we do a top 3. Why do we do a top 3? Why? Because if we did a top 10, it would take too long. So it's because our top 3s usually go into 5 or 6 anyway, but that's besides the point. In any event. And why 3? We pay homage to 1933, repeal prohibition. Top 3s. 3. And we started this when it was just Dave and I before we had guests. So it was a 3 and a 3, 33s. There you go. Tonight's top 3 list is top 3 Vermont breweries. Top 3 Vermont breweries. Interesting list. And, obviously there are a number of Vermont breweries on Remarkable's profile. So we'll see how many of them actually make it into our lists. So we'll see. All right. Top 3 Vermont breweries. Felt, start us off since you're the guest.
I'm going first. Okay. I'm going to say zero.
You going 3, 2, 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3 or
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 1, 2, number 1, number 2, number 3.
Yeah.
So in first place, second place, third place. Gotcha.
Yeah. Right. Zero Gravity. I loved their IPAs. I thought they were very good. They were very approachable.
Sure.
They really hooked me with their lagers. Their lagers are just unbelievable.
Green State.
Mm-hmm.
Green State, Pistolina, Jaws. I mean, they're just these one-off lagers that they do are just so good.
Sure.
I try to get as many samples as I can.
You got to do quality control.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, you have to.
make sure it's good products. And then keeping with Vermont lagers, I'm going to say Von Trapp. Von Trapp is just a phenomenal brewery. I think they're underappreciated for the masses, but I think everybody in the beer community really does appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
You drink one of their beers and just hear the sound of music in your head and all over your tongue.
But I mean, like, I've never had a beer from them that's made me question, like, oh, what were they thinking? What were they doing? Right. It's just, delicious.
Sure.
Yes. And then for my number 3, I think I'm gonna say Magic. No.
Oh.
I'm gonna say Upper Pass.
Upper Pass.
Very nice.
There you
go. Upper Pass makes some of the softest and just super palatable beers, and then actually their collab with Von Trapp might be one of my favorite beers of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that beer would be
Stowe Style.
Now, you keep doing that. Are you stifling a belch? Don't stifle a belch on our account.
Yeah,
let it rip.
Let it rip.
Let it rip.
Please.
It is a beer podcast. It's expected.
Exactly.
I had a lot of hot dogs today, so
that's quite all right.
Well, we can't smell it from here, so that's
exactly.
Well, you're actually not that far from me. I might be able to smell it from here.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you at?
I'm in Union City.
So, I used to be closer to you.
You're close. I mean, well, you're closer to each other than I am.
It'll dissipate by the time it gets to John.
Exactly.
So let it rip.
I'm closer to Joe Biden than you are.
This is true.
It's very true. All right. Samurai, what are yours?
All right. So I'm going to go
3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3.
I don't know if I'm going in any particular order here.
No particular order. Well, for the post on Instagram, they have to be in order. So I'll just put them in any order, guys.
Whatever order you want to put them in.
Gotcha.
Maybe I'll go 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna go with Foley Brothers.
Okay.
I really do like their beer, and I can't think of the one that I really, 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 really enjoy.
That'd be Tim and Axel.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Tim and Axel Foley. I like it. I like what you just did there.
Iron Maiden or Fair Maiden?
Fair Maiden.
No, it wasn't that one. I told it to John beforehand, but now I forget it because I'm like almost 3 beers in.
Almost 4 beers.
That's
almost 4 beers. That's it.
That's it.
I'm an old fuck, Felt.
Old fuck Felt. There you go.
I like my alliteration. All right.
I can see another intro for the show coming up.
I really hope when I'm 70 years old, the
like
kids on my block, that's what they call me.
Old fuck Felt.
Yeah. I have found a new goal in life.
There you go. Old fuck.
I'm writing it down. Old fuck Felt.
So we'll go with number 2 then. We'll go to number 2.
Not on the show, please.
Sticking with the F's.
Right.
Fiddlehead. I think Fiddlehead IPA. There was a time there. I mean, there's still a time where everyone just absolutely worships a particular beer in a silver and black can from Vermont.
I know.
And it's a solid beer.
It is a solid beer.
I've always liked Fiddlehead IPA better.
Second Fiddle is even better.
And Second Fiddle's even better.
Absolutely. And I really like, and I loved, they had this cap once. It was a brown cap with their logo on it. It was really, really cool.
You like caps?
I do like caps. So it was this brown cap with this logo on it. But, especially when your camera's like showing you a little green or whatever, it's hard to see that it's actually brown. But
no, that actually looks green.
It does.
It really does look green.
Oh, you mean a hat?
A hat, yeah.
He calls them caps.
Cap, hat, whatever. Cap,
He's
a
old.
hat.
He's old. He's almost as
I'm
old as I am.
I'm old. Yeah, exactly. So Dave's still older, but that's besides the point. All right, so Foley Brothers is number 3. Fiddlehead's number 2. What is number 1?
Number one, and I told John I wanted to avoid it. And he's like, what, for like more social reasons, because they've had a little bit of a controversy recently, but only because it's just kind of the given in Vermont, and that's the old Hill Farmstead,
Sure,
sitting up there. Yeah, and it's there's a lot of breweries that there's a lot of fanboyism going on about.
Yeah.
You take them, you take Treehouse, Russian River, but there's one thing all three of those breweries have in common. They deserve the fanboyism. They put out you. There you
there
go.
it is. All right.
There we go. We got to.
There we go.
And they deserve it. It's
Either that or that's what he thinks of what you're saying right now.
Yeah. it's and John will tell you this. It sickens me when I go into any brewery and there's someone wearing a Treehouse shirt or a Hill Farmstead shirt. Like, I went to Hill Farmstead. Yeah, fuck you, whatever.
I gotta be honest with you. I've been to Hill Farmstead. I do not own any merch from Hill Farmstead.
Really, that's interesting.
I don't.
It's proud of you.
I can't say the same thing about Treehouse.
I do own a glass, but still, the liquid that they put out, that is just some fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got to put them up there, despite what they've been through, despite the allegations, and they really are just allegations. Nothing been proven. If they were proven, then screw them. That's nothing that should happen.
Yeah, but it's not. You know what though? Here's the thing with that, and I'm not going to get political on that. But is it screw them or screw him?
Should be screw him, not them, because
because there's a lot of the people that work there that might not be in the same particular position.
And there's so many other breweries that you'd have to walk away from because these were proven, and the person that was accused walked away from the brewery like tired hands.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you punish the whole brewery and every employee that works there because their owner just happens to be a douchebag?
Right. So.
That's a hard call.
But we'll get into that on another show.
Yeah, one of these days.
One of these days we'll get into that on another show. Because what has been proven or isn't at that point or whatever will take its toll when it actually needs to happen. Right now, this is just a favorite brewery in Vermont.
But the way I look at it is like when you start talking about, we'll go back to sports here, and I'll go into football. When you talk about one of my favorite players ever, when you take what this person did on the field, my favorite player that's ever played the game. Mm-hmm. But what he did off the field, Lawrence Taylor had some issues,
of course,
right?
Of course.
So in this case,
Lawrence Taylor faced off against Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay.
I forget which, but yeah. That was when he was still in everybody's good graces. Sorry. Sure. I just had...
but Bam Bam, I met Bam Bam once when he had just signed his WWF contract before they turned into WWE.
Right.
Yeah.
He came to a nightclub I was working at called the Polo Club, which is in Neptune, New Jersey, because he knew a bunch of the bouncers. Mm-hmm. And the bouncers knew that I loved to screw with people, regardless of who they were. So they called me up.
Make sure you emphasis on the word with.
Yeah.
With.
Yeah. So they called me up to meet him.
Right.
And I had never heard of him. I didn't know who he was. He wasn't in the WWF yet. So I walk up to him, and I'm looking, I'm like, hey, Dave, this is Bam Bam Bigelow. I'm like, okay, hi, nice. It's like, bend over. He's like, what? I'm like, let me see the top of your head. Bends over. I'm like, look at the top of his head. I'm like, that's really cool. He goes, oh, thank you. He goes, thank you. I'm like, drunk or stupid? And he looks at me first with a flash of anger, and then it kind of fades. He's like, it's a little both.
Yeah.
You got to be one or the other. But the point that I was making was, you take away anything that may have happened by the owner on there. I still think Hill Farmstead makes the best beer that comes out of Vermont. within within their wheelhouse, within their styles.
It's so good. So it really is. All right,
Yeah.
I'll do mine.
Johnny, why don't you do yours?
I'll have at it. There, you go.
There we go.
All right. So I'm going to start off with
That was sexy right there, Felt.
There you go. I'm going to start off with an honorable mention because it didn't make my list, but it is one of my favorite fall beers, and I actually had, and Dave knows, sorry, Samurai knows, and I had this conversation with Felt earlier today. Long Trail Harvest is just one of my favorite fall beers, but and I'm having a problem finding it this year. And we'll get into that.
Well, maybe if they had better distribution.
Exactly.
Oh, down by you, I might be able to find it more easily up by me. If I do, I will grab it for you.
Beautiful. Let me know of MOU, and we'll take care of it. Absolutely. But in any event, so here's my three. Lawson's. I'm going to start with Lawson's. Just
the aforementioned.
No story needs to be said. We're talking about Lawson's. And
a Jersey boy at that.
And the owner is from Jersey.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, what more do you want? And we got to talk about the maple at some point as well.
Fason's maple.
Yeah, Fason's maple. So anyway, moving on to number 2, Burlington Beer Company.
And John and I arm wrestled over that one.
Yeah, we did.
As to who got to put that on their list.
Exactly. First time I went there, I mean, hole in the wall. I think they've expanded a little bit since then, but I mean, really cool space, just in an industrial area, not industrial, but a corporate area, if you will, and just the liquid they're putting out, just amazing, really is. I mean, I sat there.
But you guys should be allowed to like the same brewery.
Well, we've done that before.
We want to get shout outs to as many as we can,
especially on these lists that are from specific states. Just breweries, not specific beers from different breweries or whatever. Specific brewery or different breweries from specific states.
Now, if we're doing Delaware, we'd probably have to double up a few.
Yeah, exactly. But and don't make no mistake. Thank you. Make no mistake. Any of these breweries on any of our lists could be on any of our lists.
Yeah.
As our numbers 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Burlington just great liquid, and my number 1, honestly, and the liquid is delicious, but the atmosphere and the location kill it, and that's Foam. Right where they are, right. You sit and you look out those windows and you look out past the park onto Lake Champlain, and you're like, I don't want to leave. I just want to keep drinking. This is perfect. So there you go. So Lawson's, Burlington, and Foam. There you go. Those are my 3s. And there you have it. Cool. So
Can I?
Yeah, but
you want to throw another one in there, Phil?
No. I just want to ask you guys, what are your favorite styles? Because I think that's something that's like.
It definitely drives that.
It depends on the year. It depends on the time of year. It depends on the time of year.
Mine doesn't. I'll drink any style any time of the year if it's available, of course.
I will drink any style any time of the year as well. Same as you, but yeah, it depends on the time of year.
John and I do share one of our favorite styles. Schwarzbier is definitely on both of our lists.
Here's a Czech Schwarzbier right here.
Yeah, right.
So.
Wait, really? Schwarzbier?
Love it.
I'll drink it all year long. It's fine.
Whoa. That is not the answer. I thought you guys were gonna
love them.
Love them. Love Schwarzbiers. Creeks are near the top of my list.
Keep in mind, this is the lager room. Okay,
yeah. So there has to be at least one lager on there.
Yeah, but Schwarzbier.
Yeah, it's the Schwartz.
May the Schwartz be with you.
But yes, Schwarzbiers. I love Creeks. Creeks have long been one of my favorite styles.
Creeks are cool, and especially in the summer when it's hot and you want to sit and splash some of the water up. But what beer do you like?
Creeks are also only good when because
they're from Belgium
format and everything. They're great to share with people.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
As opposed to
dogs, because it's toxic to dogs.
No,
hops.
I mean, if you guys were here at my house right now, we would be cracking into some Cantillon.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get my keys.
See, I'll be right over. And we were talking about
100%, 100% Creek Lambic.
Close enough.
I got the 40 North.
Close enough. That's fine. It's
Close
Cantillon.
enough.
It's a Yoon.
It doesn't really matter. It's Cantillon. It's fine. But exactly. But in any event,
and also and RISs.
Yeah.
You can keep the lactose out of it unless you really know what you're doing with lactose.
Yeah. I mean, look, and I don't. There's no style that I dislike.
There is one that I do dislike.
Go ahead.
Farrows.
All right.
Really?
A farrow is just cotton candy in a can. It's just so damn sweet. I
think Lindemann's does farrow really well.
That's the one I absolutely despise. It's just
you may despise it, but they actually do it spot on. I mean,
they do it spot on, but I need insulin afterwards.
Pretty much.
But who else is doing one?
They might be the only ones. But I can't.
Wait, didn't Aphrodite do a farrow? Sorry, I had to go there.
Them and all Pharaoh and all the zombies.
Exactly, something like that. All right.
You stop stifling your belches, Felt. You give yourself an aneurysm.
Oh no! That was wiping the beer off my mustache.
It was wiping the beer off the stash wipe. In any event, Schwartz beers. Again, like the time of year it is. I mean, anything. Kolsch's, love Kolsch's.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, yeah.
A good.
But I'll take a fantastic Czech Pilsner over a Kolsch, though.
A good Czech Pils, a good German Pils, really good German Pils.
No, I love my Czech Pils. You know I love my Czech Pils.
Anything along those lines, and then Baltic porters are just I love them. Alt beers, old ales, same kind of thing. Any of those, this time of year, just give me a Doppelbock, give me a Weizenbock, give me a Weizen Doppelbock.
Oh man,
Doppelweizenbock, or you just
give me anything but a
Weizenbacher in business.
Yeah,
give me anything but a pumpkin beer.
Yeah. Although there are a few that are very well done, and I'll have one here, I'll have one there.
And last year, John and I did do a pumpkin beer show, and we will do so again, and I will choke a couple down.
Mm-hmm.
There
are a few I like, though. Mm-hmm. We've been through this.
And apparently a really good one that I have a nut allergy, so I can't partake. Mm-hmm. But
I knew a girl that had one of those.
Those nuts are these nuts.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
When they bounce off my face, my chin just swells. I've had this allergy since I was like 6, so I'm way ahead of everybody.
Wow, they've been bouncing off your chin since 6. You're a go-getter.
You're
Catholic.
Early starter. I don't even know if I can use this for an opening.
This might be the first show that has to be edited.
So
anyway,
Prairie does one, and it's the bomb base. But
you've sold me already.
Yeah, really.
I forget what the adjuncts are, but I know one of them's a nut. But it's called Basic Becky.
Basic Becky.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Becky! Look at her butt.
Yeah, and apparently it's phenomenal. I know I cannot drink it.
Well, if you were ever given one,
sample, we'll save you.
And obviously you cannot, you can't. I mean, you can't turn down a beer that's being handed to you, right? So, but you got to do something with it because you can't drink it. We'll take care of it for you. We'll dispose of it for you.
We will save you.
I really appreciate the fact that you guys are willing to dive
do
on
that.
Yeah,
we'll take care of it.
We'll jump on a grenade for you.
Absolutely. As long as the grenade is called Basic Becky.
Yeah, I was going into a Bruno Mars song, but that's okay.
All right, that's all right. 24 karat.
No. It's called Grenade.
Oh, Grenade. Oh, gotcha. All right. I thought you were going to give a little Uptown Funk kind of thing there, and No, never mind. All right, We'll leave that alone. All right. Well, This has been great, Dave. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, Mr. Feld.
Guys, this
Yes.
has been phenomenal. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Love it.
We're happy you came on. Got to talk about Remarkable. Got to talk about a lot of other things too. That was really cool. So it was a
We
big,
talked
great
about
show.
Remarkable? Yeah, we did talk about Remarkable.
We talked about Remarkable. We did.
Well, you guys,
It was
I feel like
remarkable.
you guys told me more about Remarkable than I realized.
Don't say that. That's not true.
Not
You know
true at
that.
all.
Come on.
Fine.
So,
We're on the website.
exactly. We were just looking. We were reading things off. So, anyway, but in any event, we'll wrap it up for today. Dave, stick around. We're going to talk in a second. We'll wrap the show up for today. At this point, we want to thank you for everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast,
I
thanks
need
for listening.
tequila.
There you go. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerum.com. That's LAGERROM.com. Please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media. It's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night at 6:30. For those of you just listening to the audio podcast, just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Plus, the show is now available on The show is now available on Amazon Music Podcast and iHeartRadio
All
as
of
well.
Dave's flexing really distracted you, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. And iHeartRadio as well. Anyway, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show or a tattoo. Either or. There you go. Folks, I implore you, if you're listening to this show on one of the audio podcast feeds, you're going to want to tune in to the actual Facebook or YouTube replay of the video.
Yeah.
And even if you don't watch the whole thing, fast forward to the end and watch what Dave's doing while I'm giving this spiel.
You need to see the gun show.
So, in any event.
We got front row seats at the gun show, and I'm going to...
There you go.
We'll
Cheers.
Cheers. I got my tequila.
Chindan Nastrovia. Prost. There you go. All right. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a wonderful
God, that
weekend.
shit's smooth.
Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly, and we will talk to you soon, folks. Have a great one. Take care. Cheers.
Yeah, don't chase it with tequila.
No, do that.